So my next guest today is Brian Watson. He's the managing partner at a company called Hyrel Technologies. Hello, Brian. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again, too.
Yeah. So you have a company up in the valley that does contract tinning of leads and reballing, essentially.
Yes. So we do the component modification services.
Right.
So the gold mitigation, tin mitigation, leaded components, BGA reballing. Okay. We also do the lead forming of the dual and quad gold inline type of parts, along with the tinning, along with creating. We have half a dozen 3D printers, so we use those to create the jedec trays. But anything within the component modification space.
So you're the last guy in the process.
We're the last guy in the process, meaning that before they can populate the circuit boards, right? For any of the high reliability applications that there are, parts need to either be tin mitigated or something else done to them. So we, as we are the last stop, we take our lead time seriously, right? We only have 4 competitors in the industry. Right. Their average lead time is somewhere around 4.5 weeks.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
Up to 16. Right.
You're turning it around in 4 days.
We're turning it around in 4 days or 1 day, right? And it's just a matter of having your team understand what has to happen, and then not only that, but then like having a complete knowledge of the process and what we're doing. Because with our VersaCell system, which is what we use to create this, it's actually it's the best system in the world. Right. There haven't been an advancement in our industry since 1998.
Right.
With the original Corfin systems, right? Now they've done some updating this, that, and the other. But nobody's come up with a truly unique system that addresses like each and every component.
Right.
Each component tins a little bit differently. So that requires a different solder wave, right? And solder waves are limited within 2 of the machines. There's a newer machine that's come out that has selectable solder wave of 3 solder waves. We have an infinite number of solder waves we can create with our system.
So let me understand this a little bit. You're tinning these leads because you've got to get the right tin balance for the intermetallic.
Yes.
For when you do the wave soldering.
Right.
Yes. Is that really where you're coming from?
We are doing the tinning to create the intermetallics to prevent tin whiskers.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Which and the higher the purity of the tin, the more likely you are to get tin whiskers.
Absolutely. Yeah. And look, our industry could be wiped out tomorrow if they discover some new element that will allow lead-free processes not to grow tin whiskers. But probably not.
Yeah. It's not in the horizon at the moment anyway. So let's talk about Mexico. Why are you down at a show like this?
Yes. So I feel it's really a good supplement to some of the SMTA shows that go on within the States, within the tabletop. This is very well attended. We have some companies here that we do a little bit of business with, right? Looking to grow, on the lookout for the right representative agency. We're very generous with our commission structure. And I find opportunities. We won some awards down here for our systems, and that's important.
So you could. So you're expecting to get contract work brought up here from Mexico.
Yes. There's a good supply network already established here, but there are certain things that we do that only a few companies in the world do.
Okay.
So, yes.
Okay, excellent. So I believe you've also got a very healthy intern program.
We do.
So tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, and I want to thank, first of all, the other 5 partners of Hyrel, especially Scott Baker, right? Okay. They weren't quite sure of what I was doing when I started this. In my own personal experience as a musician with a master's degree in performance, high school, I was going to colleges. So what we did is we engaged not only our local community economic development, but we also engaged our local high school district, which is Peoria Unified. 5 high schools, 17 some odd thousand students, and they've got 172 type of outreach programs that their kids participate in. We've had over 30 now. We're on our 10th class, right?
How long is the course?
It's a semester term, right? Either term or summer.
Okay.
So we got fall, spring, summer that we've been able to have people. We have placed. I've got a component engineer at Raytheon in Tucson now.
Wow.
We have a number of kids at Embry-Riddle up in Prescott. We've got a number of kids at ASU, and we're talking about a divergent
It must be enormously satisfying.
Yes, it is rewarding, right? It's wonderful to see the kids excited about what they do.
How many of them have you hired into your actual full-time
Absolutely.
stuff?
Yeah, we had a young lady just started her freshman year at ASU in accounting and law, right? Mm-hmm. We took her in as accounting intern.
Right. Wow.
Way beyond anything of the engineering side and anything else, right? And she was featured in the CTE program video that they sent out to all the parents within the school district. And then she wanted to learn how to do the tinning process or the reballing process or the tape and reel. And what's rewarding is this: the kids enjoy doing the work.
Right.
So as they enjoy it, then the quality of the work also goes up in its curve, right?
Don't they need to have a grounding though in chemistry? How these things work.
We do. So we had a gentleman who's a master's student at ASU right now, right? And he did a lot of our robotics side in the front end software side. Mm-hmm. So our system, as it is, right, not only does tinning, it also does reballing now, because over the last 3 months we added a module, okay. Right? I say add a module, right? But we took something that could take 20 to 30 seconds, and we've got it down to 4.
Wow.
Right? Wow. So it's the innovation that drives my excitement in what I do. And having been the CEO of another company in this industry for 18 years, it's not having fun the last 10 years. It's fighting, uphill battle.
Right.
Customers second.
Yep.
Customer second. No, I don't understand that. I take calls on Saturday at midnight. Sometimes, if the buyer is willing to call me and it's got something that's important, then I owe it to pick up the phone, right?
So you're back in an industry that excites you.
Yeah, it's the service level, it's the excitement, it's the aura of our factory, right? Mm-hmm. We have a tremendous learning. Everybody's going about their business, right? If they have questions, they collaborate. Yeah. We give them all the tools that they could possibly need. And why do we have 6 3D printers? Because you got them. And one or two is not enough.
What do you use 3D printing for? Are you making? I don't know. Are you making
jedec
casings?
trays?
Sorry,
we're making jedec trays.
Jedec trays.
We're making half jedec trays. I mean, we have a library of 20 standard trays that fit most all of the Fancore type form parts, right? Mm-hmm. We also use it to print fixtures to send through the oven. So we have we have a full range of printers, from the resin printer to the FDM type printers, to being able to do the high peak and all 10 materials.
Okay.
Wow. And what does that mean? All of this drives towards one thing, and one thing only: lead time.
Yeah.
We are self-sufficient except for solder bar.
Right.
Easy Spheres is owned by my partner's brother, right? Mm-hmm. So we have every solder sphere alloy, every solder sphere size, right? It makes us the best option.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of getting our name out.
Yeah, it sounds like you've got the process tied down pretty tightly,
I was taught the process by John Kerr, who was Boeing's chief scientist of electronic manufacturing processes.
Yeah.
One of the original authors of the GEIA specs and everything else. And still communicate with him to this day. He had a lot to do with our new robotic system and giving us suggestions and things. And those mentors matter to you in life, and they're valued relationships.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, it's a wonderful story, and I'm really glad that you decided to come in and tell us about it today.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.